My name is Saurabh Jain. I'm Vice President at Paytm. I'm also heading the Paytm Build for India initiative, which is an initiative to promote entrepreneurship and startups in India. And I have managed relationships with various industry bodies for Paytm, namely NASCOM, CII, PSDCCI, SOCAM, etc. And I also run an open education project personally called Fun to Do Labs, where I want to basically solve the problem of education in the world. And I try as a hobby, I try to research on that, and I have a very small team which helps me in that. See, before COVID, obviously, payment gateway has a lot of potential for innovation. So obviously, we were focusing on payment gateway for innovation. So we had introduced a lot of different products in payment gateway. For example, we had introduced subscription payments as well as subscriptions using UPI and different sort of things which were helping the online merchants to get money faster and in a better way. Also in offline, we have started Android-based EDC machines, basically the credit card machines, which are smart in nature. And in offline, we are trying to go to shops and get them to use that because that has a lot of benefits. Because the QR code generated is digital in nature in those machines, and lot of other features are there. And also within the Paytm app and in general, I would say in fintech, the general focus has been on banking. So Paytm Bank allows you to create online FDs. You can break them also at any time. So specifically, I would say that uh, in day to day, the general focus was that like you should be able to live your life fully digitally, because obviously we know that like say 5 years ago, it was difficult to conceive a world where you can live purely digitally. But now I think we have reached a stage, and that was something which we were doing earlier. And then obviously when this Corona crisis came, that has helped a lot to the general public. Just to give you an example, in my case, like personally, I went to bank last time I went to bank to get some cash was 2 months ago. So generally, most of the payments I am doing through Paytm app or generally sometimes through net banking. So I believe that in fintech, the future is basically online mobile banking, and now after Corona, I would say that contactless is the focus. So we are doing a lot of innovation after Corona for promoting that. See, we have launched two, three things to help that. So many of the things were in pipeline earlier also, but obviously due to Corona and it got accelerated. So one is that we have reached out to state governments for contactless food ordering at restaurants. We believe that whenever restaurants would open, obviously touching the menu card would be a difficult thing. Like right now, due to the psychology and due to the epidemic in general, nobody would want to touch the menu card, which has been touched many times. So Paytm is creating a contactless ordering system. The other thing is that we have launched a mini app program. So mini app program is basically any startup or any app developer can integrate their progressive web app in the Paytm app, and that becomes like a mini app within Paytm app. So, for example, if you want to order food, instead of going to the food ordering app, you can just go to that vendor's app within Paytm, and you can just click and order food from Paytm. So we are now accelerating the sign-ups from startups for that, and that I think is very useful because most startups right now are facing this issue that their funding has dried up and they want to greater traction, but unfortunately due to lack of funding it becomes very difficult to keep the manpower, and so right now they are stuck in a situation where they know if even if there is a business, they are not able to increase their manpower, and the other thing is obviously due to lockdown, sometimes the physical things are not possible. So most startups would be focusing on online consumer engagement, and like many of the models are hybrid between online and offline. Even there, I think the more focus would be on online. So there I feel that there is a lot of scope in integrating with Paytm app, because just to give you an example, recently one startup which got live on our platform had an increase of 600% in revenue. The founder, in fact, messaged me. He said he was very happy that he saw a 6x increase in revenue on day one. So I believe that the mini app program would be a great fit for like startups specifically, because they would get access to Paytm's customers, and we don't charge anything outrightly for the mini app program, although it's an invite only program. But any B2C app which can get traction, generally we allow that app to get integrated, and basically we just take a revenue share from the startups for the apps. And I believe that this would be a great flip, because right now app stores are relatively very crowded, and for a digital only startup to survive on app stores is difficult, and hybrid model would be under tremendous stress right now because of lockdowns and everything. So I believe that mini app program is a great way of getting business for startups, and for us also it's a sort of a new business model, where because many people used to reach out to us that they wanted to integrate with Paytm, because generally customers prefer to pay using Paytm. So I believe that mini app program would be a great fit there. And in payment gateway also, we are trying to do a lot of innovation that, practically speaking, we are trying to reduce the user interface you see, and things should be more streamlined. It should be less clicks. So we are trying to trying to make it more seamless, because right now most of the online apps are seeing a lot of traction due to, and specifically the content apps are seeing a lot of traction due to people sitting at home, and obviously they need some way of spending time. So I believe that as a proactive payment gateway, we are doing that. And we have also, to help the startups, we have also reduced the amount of documentation required. We also give a payment gateway booster under Paytm Build for India to help the startups in that direction. So I believe that a lot of new things would be coming, and the more focus would be basically on reducing the physical involvement at every step. And on online, the focus would be more on scaling and creating a less user interface and more seamless integration. So mini apps or new features in payment gateway are in those directions, where we are reducing our UI, and the startups would be getting better integration within our products. I believe that, see, the many startups would need to pivot a little bit, because many of the categories, especially the travel and the dining category, has been hit. But as per my talks with startups in travel and dining, right now they are not that worried. So I was positively surprised. The example I was sharing about 6x growth. This was a travel startup, basically a hotel booking startup, which got integrated into the mini app. So the founder was cheerful, and he was saying that getting more traffic is helping him. The reason is that in many of the states, like specifically Delhi and Bombay, are badly hit. But I think in many of the states, including Karnataka, etc., I think Corona is relatively under control. So in a few places, hotels and dining, etc., have started now. So I believe so either the startup should increase their geographical area, and if they are focusing on all of India, then obviously some places are open, and some would get open in a few months. The other thing is that, like Swiggy and Zomato recently started delivering liquor instead of food. I think similarly, many of the startups may need to pivot. So there, the solution pattern may remain same. So, for example, instead of delivering food, the Zomato employee is practically doing the same thing, or the Swiggy agent is practically doing the same thing, but the thing which they are delivering is now different. So I believe that many of these startups would need to do that. For example, even like edtech startups are now enjoying this wave where they are getting a lot of traction due to Corona. So maybe some startups need to change their services, like Urban Clap, for example. You see, they are giving ads that specific services they are focusing on. So I believe that startups need to pivot a little bit. Maybe they need to change the services, or maybe if fortunately you are in a service which can grow very rapidly, for example, like EdTech, health tech, there I believe that especially like I know about a startup which is into telemedicine, and I am seeing that they are getting a lot of traction, and because doctors have stopped seeing, some of the doctors have stopped seeing patients physically. For example, recently I also had an appointment with doctor. I used a app to talk to the doctor, because obviously in the current scenario, patient doesn't feel safe to go to doctor, doctor doesn't feel safe to see offline. So I believe there are areas where, like obviously, if the startup pivot, like the example of the health tech startup which I was giving. So this health tech startup was mainly into nursing home management and into offline appointments, and now they have pivoted to online appointments and using chat and Zoom, etc. So I believe that startups would need to pivot in that sense. Although I believe that 100% pivot kind of thing is not required. Like Swiggy change just the thing which they are delivering, but they are still into delivery business. Or this health tech startup, instead of offline appointments, now it is focusing on online appointments. So I believe that like startups should try to find a good balance between their core competence and the new realities, and they should not just do pivot, which is very different, because obviously changing is very difficult immediately, and obviously if they don't change, then they would close down. So there should be a fine balance between the need to change and the core competency of the organization. I think due to Corona, a good thing which has happened is that things have accelerated at least 10x times. So I am seeing a lot of people shifting to Zoom, etc. Just to share one example. So my mother is around 65 years of age and deeply religious. So she used to go to religious gatherings and functions outside Delhi. But now, due to this crisis, she has not been able to go. And what she showed me last week was that there had to be a big religious gathering which was done on Zoom. So and she is even showing me like ladies associations, etc., going to Zoom. In the metros, etc., I would say I am seeing even like kids celebrating birthday parties on Zoom. So I believe that tier 2, tier 3 towns are also catching up, because like the religious example I was telling, it had the most of the people there were from tier 2, tier 3 towns, like people from Indore and people from Jaipur, etc., or even smaller towns like Banswara in Rajasthan. So those people are now shifting to Zoom, and Zoom has become more like Zoom and other. Obviously, there are other uh, softwares also, but Zoom, I think, has become more like a new kind of a video WhatsApp sort of a thing in India, and that I think would help catalyze the digital ecosystem. Because I was sharing with this health tech startup, I said that your competitor is not other health tech startups. I think your competitor is a combination of WhatsApp and Paytm, because obviously for payments, most people prefer Paytm right now, and it is more convenient. And for obviously for chatting, etc., people prefer Zoom or WhatsApp video call. So many people are doing that, and that would be good in the long run, because it helps in a lot of other business models. So for example, I was talking to my lawyer friend, and she told me that the courts, like obviously, I'm giving example of Delhi because she was practicing in Delhi, but she said courts are doing judgments online now. So I believe that once the online solution is there in Delhi courts, obviously within a few months, even if it is even not ready right now in smaller towns, I think within a few months, and especially government is giving fillip to the online this webinar and online meeting thing. So I believe that like within a year or two, all the courts would be online. I believe that would save a lot of time, and a lot of other government processes would be online.
So many of the processes were online, but the staff was not that tech savvy in the government departments, or many of the people were not that tech savvy. People used to go to consultants for filing returns, etc. online. Now I believe that because everybody is now getting used to online processes, and because government also would focus more on online processes and will get better user experience for their own apps, etc. So I believe that in the smaller towns also there would be a very big fillip for digitization, and especially this year being a like right now we don't see that corona going away for next 2 3 months. So because we have been uh, working at home for so long time, I believe there would be a change even in smaller towns, because for example, one of my juniors, he is from a very small town called Firozabad near Agra. So right now he's working from there, and when our office closed, he shifted there, and he said, "Sir, jab theek ho jayega, I will come back." Unfortunately, he could not come back because right now the situation is very bad. So I believe that those people who would be migrating back to their smaller town, they will also they will show to their cousins and brothers, etc., sisters, etc., how they are working from home. And I think the future would be that people from smaller states, from the states like UP and Bihar, etc., from smaller towns would not be migrating maybe to Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore. They would be working online, and I believe that that would be a very interesting thing, because see, profit is equal to revenue minus expenses. And sitting in Bihar, you can sell something online even to New York resident. So your profit would be basically, your revenue would be, can be from America or from metros, but your expenses would be very less. And you see currently this is happening in Zoom and some of the companies which are active in South India, which are in SaaS, specifically companies near Chennai. So their cost base is basically Indian, and they are present, like Zoho is present in smaller towns, and their cost base is relatively low, but they are able to sell in America. So I believe that future holds very good for India, because uh, at the end of the day, the smaller town people would get now direct access to international markets and national like Delhi, Bombay, etc., which earlier was not possible without migration. And obviously migration had its own logistical issues, we all know. So in that sense, I believe that corona, although there are many negatives, but there are some positives, like these kind of things. So I believe that regulators can help a lot, and in India most of the regulators have been relatively proactive. So I was positively surprised when India started Paytm, the payments bank. So nowhere in the world these payment banks were there. So our regulator was very proactive, and it allowed payment banks, and the UPI thing is relatively far advanced to what we have in USA even. But I would incidentally like to share an interesting thing, that Paytm, some time ago, we started a joint venture with Yahoo Japan, where we started exporting our technology to Yahoo Japan, and we did a joint venture where we started a service called PayPay, similar to Paytm, in Japan. And the unique thing was that we were supplying technology instead of, like, generally Japanese companies export technology and Indians import it. So we were exporting technology and they were importing technology. So that was a sea change. So I think that was due to the regulatory framework in India, because obviously India had more fintech innovation from a regulatory point of view faster than even Japan or USA. But I think some of the major pain points, like I am not directly related to the to talking to regulators, so I am not in touch with last 2 3 months what is happening. But in general, I would say they should allow video KYC, and I think generally my own personal take is that KYC should be made easier. And now in the current scenario, online KYC should be there. For example, like, just to share my own example, I wanted to switch from a telecom operator to Geo recently, and I wrote to Geo on Twitter, and they said that we would be happy to have you, but unfortunately we are not able to uh, give you SIM cards and do KYC right now. So I believe that right now the situation is that people are not able to do physical KYC. So regulators should be proactive and allow online KYCs using video or some other mode. And in fact, even touching the fingerprint right now is feels very unsafe. So there also I think some innovation should be done. But in general, I would say regulators in India are proactive and generally and another thing which I would like would be that instead of aping or copying West, they should uh, try their own models, which they have been doing. But in general, I think generally in bureaucracy there is always like a comparison what is being done in West. So I would say that West is unfortunately for them, they are not that much ahead right now. Also in America, people still use credit cards, etc., and we have obviously leapfrogged to the next generation, and we use digital wallets and UPI and all these things. So I believe that regulators should be like continuing with this good work, and they should try to be more proactive and obviously reduce uh, the problems in KYC and other allied things, and also try to reduce phishing related frauds using public service campaigns, etc. I believe that startups should take this positively. The reason is that Sony started when Japan was in shambles after 1945, after the World War. So Sony started around that time. Microsoft and Apple started in 1970s when there was a oil shock. So there was a oil shock in I think 1973, and Microsoft and Apple started around 1976. So I believe that startups which start around these bad times generally outlive the startups which start in good times. For example, Webvan, and there were other startups which started around .com mania, and those have closed down. So I believe that the reason is that only the most passionate entrepreneurs start their startups during bad times. So obviously during good times when funding is easy, many people come into the market because they feel that they can get rich quickly. So I believe that if you are passionate, this is the good time. And right now also there are funding opportunities available in specifically in edtech, health tech, etc. But even I believe that by next year everything would be fine. I have been tracking Corona relatively closely, although I am not a doctor or epidemiologist. But I would say that I believe that by 2021 start, most of the bad news would be behind us, and some of the good news would be ahead of us. So the reason is that a lot of central banks have cut the interest rates, and that has increased liquidity. We see stock market, instead of falling, it is continuously rising for 2 3 months. I don't know, like sometimes you feel that maybe economy is growing, stock market is predicting that. But I believe the reason is that due to the easing by central banks, there is ample liquidity in the market, and once businesses start operating normally, this liquidity would help them to grow. This would increase a lot of demand. People now have better clarity about their life. So many people want to like change now their lifestyle for better. So I believe that a lot of new opportunities would arise. For example, now everybody is using Zoom for a lot of things. So a lot of things can now be like a lot of innovation can be done in event management. So people can do maybe hybrid events, online events, those kind of things which were not possible earlier. And obviously in telemedicine, etc., I think a lot of things can be done in India, where I think cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad can emerge as, or even cities like Jaipur can emerge as hubs for education and hubs for telemedicine, because these are smaller cities, but through online they can obviously cater to people in Bombay, people in Mumbai and Delhi, etc. So I believe a lot of innovation would be happening in next year. So good startups should rise, and so generally they say, no, when going gets tough gets going. So I think that this is that sort of a time, and I believe that 2021 would be a better year financially for people. So I would say build for India, because our country needs millions of entrepreneurs.